This meeting of the Aurora City Council for September 23rd, 2025 is hereby called to order at 6:01 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Barrero.
Here.
Alderwoman Garza.
Present.
Alderman Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman Nunez.
Here.
Alderman Franco.
Here.
Alderman Seville.
Here.
Alderman Benuelos.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith. Alderman Bug.
Here.
Alderwoman Bade.
Here.
Alderman Larson.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Mayor Lash is present.
Is there a motion to approve the appointment of Sergeant at Arms for this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Franco, second by Alderwoman Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries by voice vote. Next, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Are there any aldermen that wish to lead? Thank you, Alderman Franco. Next, we'll have the mayor's report. John, take it away.
Thank you so much, Mayor. A great weekend here in Aurora. We'd like to recap a couple of major events that took place this past weekend and, of course, look forward to what's to come here in the city. We'll start off with the City of Lights Film Festival. It drew many film lovers here to the city. We got some great media coverage, and, of course, a lot of people ended up coming out. The festival actually set a record for ticket sales, film submissions, sponsorships, and volunteers all this year. Huge shout out to Sam Loveland, who really helped to curate everything, and Blanca Vargas, both members of my team, for really putting all this together, generating great sponsorships, community partnerships, and all these people to come out. So let's give them a round of applause. It's a huge event, and everyone's already asking, when's it coming back? It's coming back next year in the fall, and we're looking forward to continuing that hype and keeping it moving. Next year will be the fourth annual City of Lights Film Festival. Last week, Mayor Lash also honored National POW MIA Recognition Day with the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council. Beautiful ceremony put on at Veterans Island Park on Friday. The news came out to cover it too. We'll see what ABC 7 had to say.
City of Aurora marked National POW MIA Recognition Day during this ceremony at Veterans Island Park. Mayor John Lash issued a proclamation calling on all residents to remember those who served but never returned home.
Of course, we remember all of those, again, who served and never were able to return home. Thank you to the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council for a beautiful ceremony, a touching ceremony on Friday to commemorate National POW and MIA Recognition Day. Coming up in October, as we look forward, next week's the 5th week, so we want to make sure we get this out there now. National Cybersecurity Awareness Month is coming up. We're going to have a proclamation officially on October 7th, but something to keep in mind for residents is that the city's IT department is going to be offering a free home internet security course that's going to be available beginning October 1st for the entirety of the month. It's going to be located at aurora.al.us/free internet security course. There's a password to take the course. The password is simply home course, all one word, home course. The city will also participate in a Cybersecurity Awareness Month Champions program to really promote online safety and privacy awareness. There's going to be an online workshop entitled Thinking You're Hiding on the Internet at 2:30 p.m. on Thursday, October 9th. It's up there on the screen. We'll be sure to remind everybody as we get closer to that date. Follow us on social media. Look us up on our website. We'll be sure to have more information for that coming up. Huge shout out to the city's cybersecurity team, Leela Karamori and Mark Taghap, working together to bring this to fulfillment too. And finally, this Friday, Fall Food Truck Festival returns. It's going to be a big event, 30-plus food trucks lining up all downtown and off of Benton from Broadway to River. It's going to be huge. We got delicious food. We have live music, DJs. It's really going to be a blast, so we hope that everybody could make it out and come enjoy all the great flavors and the delicious array of food trucks that the community events team does a great job of each and every time of bringing out. So it's going to be a great event. Bring out your family, 5 to 9 p.m. this Friday. It should be a great event. We're looking forward to seeing everybody out there. Now we're going to move on to the second part of the mayor's report. We have a report from the Fox Valley Music Consortium and Jonathan Hauser. So we'll get your PowerPoint loaded up and we'll have you present on what it's all about and what you guys are doing here in Aurora.
Thank you. I'm sorry, is the presentation ready to go?
we go. All right. Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council, for allowing me the opportunity to speak here this evening. My name is Jonathan Hauser, President of the Fox Valley Music Consortium. I could talk for hours about the many wonderful things that we do, but I will try my best to distill it down to 5 or so minutes. As a cultural nonprofit organization, our mission is to provide fine musical performances for people of all ages and educational opportunities for youth. We were founded in 2010, initially as the Fox Valley Orchestra, as a rebirth of our predecessor, the Fox River Valley Symphony, that existed in Aurora for decades, but sadly closed after the events of 9/11. As our organization has grown over the years and increased the musical offerings, we changed our name to the Fox Valley Music Consortium to better reflect the scope of our programs. You can see the number of both adult and youth programs that we offer here, each with their distinct color variation of our main logo. We represent nearly 200 adult musicians and hundreds of students and families that have been enrolled in our programs. We hold over 50 events each season, mostly concerts, large and small, along with a pair of fundraisers. The Fox Valley Orchestra, our first group and our flagship ensemble, is a semi-professional orchestra that performs at a very high level. They host classical concert series, a summer pop series, and other events like the popular Sing Along Messiah, as well as youth concerts. Since the pandemic, we have worked hard to rebuild our audience, and it's been challenging. This season, we're very excited to return to the beautiful Crimi Auditorium at Aurora University, a venue that our orchestra and patrons love. We're proud of the fact that we helped the city add its mark to the Guinness Book of World Records for the most people headbanging in one location when Aurora celebrated the 25th anniversary of Wayne's World at River Ridge Park in 2017. The crowd went wild while the orchestra jammed to Bohemian Rhapsody with a killer guitar solo. We are hoping that we see the opportunity to return to the park and perform for the fireworks as we did for many years in the past. Our Fox Valley Orchestra Chorus began in 2011, shortly after the orchestra started, and has continued ever since. With this group, we've been able to perform some amazing choral symphonic music from great composers like Handel, Beethoven, and Bernstein. We've collaborated with the Aurora University choirs on multiple occasions to bring an amazing educational experience to their students and to enhance the concert for the audience. Together with the Fox Valley Orchestra, these groups put on a Young Artist Showcase each year to highlight aspiring young musicians in the early stages of their career. In late 2017, the Fox Valley Brass Band was founded by a group of high-level volunteer musicians to create our community's first and only group of its kind, playing a mix of high-energy, popular, and classical music. The Brass Band performs a series of concerts at nearby Wesley United Methodist Church, as well as shows in the local area by invitation. This next season, we're excited to be offering a set of youth concerts over at Aurora University for class field trips to learn about the instruments and the music of the brass band world. In 2019, the Fox Valley Jazz Big Band, under the direction of Jeff Ford, started its first season. A group of 16 top-notch professional jazz artists. They were the house big band at the venue when it first opened, but unfortunately the season was cut short due to the COVID pandemic in March of 2020. After a brief hiatus, the group resumed performances and today hosts a regular concert series at Waubonsee Community College. We also host an amazing series of youth concerts for the students each year in District 129 at West Aurora High School and also at East Aurora High School in District 131. We hold other shows on the road when invited. Next spring, we'll be hosting, together with Waubonsee Community College, a series of youth education concerts on their campus. Our newest group is the local professional singing chorus called the Fox Chamber Singers. The pandemic delayed their start significantly, but in the 2022 season, they held the first performances under the direction of Lisa Fredberg and have become a very good sounding group. They've performed at many area churches, but have found their home primarily at Marmion Abbey in Aurora. The Abbey's been a wonderfully gracious host to us, and the church is acoustically excellent for these events. This group also will be holding youth concerts at Aurora University this next spring. And on to our youth programs. Our youth orchestra began in 2016 and today has grown into a multi-tiered program of 3 ensembles from elementary through high school students. With a lack of string programs in Aurora schools, we offer an affordable option for families. We host this at the campus of Aurora Christian Schools on Monday evenings. We have a school year evening program as well as a week-long summer camp. We hold performances at the school theater as well as places around the community, such as our library atrium and at senior centers to bring the joy of music to those who can't get to it themselves. Our youth choir program was started in 2018 with the goal of bringing quality, affordable, classical vocal education to young students in parallel with the excellent adult ensembles that we have. Today, the group is a two-tier program for elementary through high school students. They meet Tuesdays also at Aurora Christian Schools and offer a summer camp program just like the youth orchestra. They have a lot of fun and they bring their singing joy to the community and outreach events at the library and at senior centers. Our newest program started about a year ago as our Fox Valley Youth Jazz program, also held by our wonderful hosts at Aurora Christian Schools. This ensemble starts later in the fall on Wednesday nights for students in middle and high school. Jumping into the world of jazz is an invigorating experience, and our directors have done a great job with these kids. They've come a long way in a short time and have performed at a few community events and even opened for the big band at Wabansie. I think our most significant youth program is the last one that I'll show you here. It's our Fox Valley El Sistema program, which we started in 2013 with the goal of bringing music to disadvantaged and at-risk youth at no cost. We have served thousands of Aurora students over the years with free instruments and free instruction during after-school hours at District 129 and 131 elementary schools. At our peak, we covered 14 schools and over 600 students in a single year. We'd love for that number to reach 1,000. We've continually fundraised and collected instrument donations. We have some stalwart sponsors that have supported our efforts in addition to some of the grant funds through the after-school programs. Unfortunately, these federal grant funds are on pause in the current political climate, but we hope to return to our partner schools as soon as possible to continue our work. We're also excited to let you know that 1 year ago we opened our own El Sistema Nucleo site, independent of our partner schools, where we can offer year-round programming. Currently held at nearby St. Peter's Catholic Church and School, we host Friday evening and Saturday afternoon group music lessons on a variety of instruments. We're still registering students there at almost zero cost to families as we work to remove the economic barrier of music education for those most in need. You can see here all the instruments that we offer students for group instruction. So as you can see, we offer a variety of educational and performance opportunities in all our programs. In addition to all the things mentioned, we host youth competitions, we offer internships, scholarships, and tuition assistance. Our programs are modestly priced, and we try not to turn away any students or family due to cost. We could use your help to ensure their continued success. You might be surprised to know what it takes to do all these things. Our overall organization budget is very small, at just $300,000. We do a lot with a little. We hope to secure funds so that in time we can hire a development director and an executive director. But currently our organization runs on volunteer labor at the administrative and organizational level. I'm amazed sometimes at what we're able to do with the little we have. Long term, our vision is to see our different programs consolidated at a single location where we host all our rehearsals without conflicts. Scheduling our season activities with our many different host locations is a regular challenge, and we'd love to have a home of our own. If you are interested in supporting our programs, we welcome and thank you. And we want to thank all of the alderwomen and all the aldermen who have supported us in the past through sponsorships at some of our fundraising events. We have 2 fundraising events each year, the first one coming up very soon on October 4th at Cool Acres Park. It's our annual Fall Fest picnic, and we're looking for sponsors between just $150 and $500 a piece. If there's a business to promote, they're welcome to come and set up a tent at the park. We have outdoor games and activities, some youth ensembles, performing, raffles, instrument petting zoo for kids to find the instruments they want to learn. People can bring their own lunch or they can buy it there, but we only have a week left to order food. So we hope to see you there. And that wraps up my presentation. Thank you so much for your time. And we have some brochures over on the table for folks who want additional information.
Thank you for the presentation and for sharing that with the council and for all that the Fox Valley Music Consortium does to maintain our culture here in the city of Aurora.
Thank you. Do I need to entertain questions?
I don't think so. We have a few more. We have quite a busy agenda and
Okay,
an
very good.
extra long mayor's report. So, one other item that didn't make the mayor's report, while you guys can come on up, go ahead, while they ready the next presentation, is on Saturday, October 4th, the 17-home Habitat for Humanity project has been restarted. There's 3 contractors that are out there working to build 3 homes this fall. DSC has been very instrumental in advancing those building permits, but on October 4th, the city is going to be taking a volunteer group out there. I know that John's team is putting together a communication and coordinating with Habitat to do that, so we're going to be looking for volunteers. It's pretty much an all-day event. I'm going to be out there and then slide out for a couple other mandatory things that I have. The next presentation is we have a special city council meeting coming up on Thursday to talk about the proposed data center and warehouse moratorium, and realizing that some members of the council might not be able to attend that meeting, but also wanting to give you as much awareness and a heads up. We had initially planned to run this on the October 7th meeting, but there's another need from HR and finance for a special meeting this coming Thursday. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity after this presentation. We'll take some questions from the council. The purpose, again, is just to try and give you as much awareness as well as make the public aware of this ordinance that we're looking at imposing. And thanks again to staff for working overtime to get this together for the mayor's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm John Curley, Chief Development Services Officer from the City of Aurora.
And I'm Allison Lindberg, Director of Sustainability.
So we're here to talk about a proposed data center and warehouse moratorium. It's also important to know that we're having a public meeting, or a public hearing tomorrow at Planning and Zoning Commission, 7 o'clock here at Council Chambers. We brought the presentation that we have prepared for tomorrow night, essentially, so that we could make you aware of kind of the why and give you an opportunity to talk about it as a council and ask us some questions. We're seeing actually, if you jump to the next slide, John. Oh, I have it here. Sorry. Thank you. So we're going to talk about why we're here, the definition of data centers and warehouses, and why, because of our current definitions, they are linked. We're going to highlight some examples of other municipalities and what actions they took when they found themselves being inundated by data center applications. And we're going to talk about community and environmental impacts and some summary and recommendations. There we go. So as I mentioned, we're seeing an increased number of data centers and warehouse development requests. At the same time, we're seeing that increased application rate. We're also trying to address several citizen complaints that have arisen from some existing data centers. So trying to balance those two, we have been doing some research on possible things that we could change in the ordinance, and we find ourselves asking for the necessity of a moratorium so that we have the opportunity to fully research what other communities have done, what the smart moves might be, and then bring them back to council for potential adoption. As I mentioned, citizens have expressed a lot of concerns over noise, traffic, and other environmental impacts from data centers and warehouses. Ultimately, we plan on using this period of time to clarify, or we want to clarify what data center is and how they fit into the definition of a warehouse here in a moment. And we need some time to figure out the best practices in the industry and ensure that our new regulations will actually address the citizen concerns that we're finding and find best practices that are happening throughout the country. Currently, we classify data centers as a warehouse, which is warehouse distribution and storage service facility. Currently, these are permitted in ORI, M1 and M2 districts, and some conditional use plan developments, and some PDDs as well. So our current definition of a warehouse includes, as if you read that long passage, data centers towards the end of that long passage. And then we wanted to highlight what a data center is. It's a building dedicated with space for housing computer systems and associated components such as telecommunication and storage systems. And they are a very specialized segment of the warehouse uses, and we're finding we need to address them separately from warehouses with different requirements, and that's why we're here asking for the opportunity to have some time to do this.
So, as John mentioned, in some of our preliminary research, we've found that Aurora is not alone in our concerns and in the challenges that we've seen both with warehouses and data center development. There are many municipalities that have taken action to get an understanding of how to address the impacts of both of these building types. Just go to the middle there, you'll see that even Chicago, Illinois is actually studying this as well. Part of this moratorium would be to incorporate a study that they are doing themselves to understand noise and environmental impacts from data centers within the city of Chicago. Yes, we can go to the next slide. There's basically two types of impacts that we're going to be studying with this time, community impacts and environmental impacts. Community impacts would include noise, traffic or land use concerns, and higher electricity usage, which is leading to higher electricity rates in our region. And then environmental impacts would be concerns around water usage, air pollution, and then greenhouse gas emissions.
On the community impacts, what we have experienced with existing data centers in Aurora are primarily from the first two, although the other concerns we also want to address. So with respect to noise, there are two types of noise that have proven to be troublesome at data centers. The constant noise that's occurring at data centers is the cooling systems. So the mechanical chillers have to run constantly to dissipate the heat that's generated from all the computers that are in the building. So what we've experienced and have had complaints about is the constant noise from these facilities in neighboring residential locations. In addition to that, these facilities need to have emergency power. They essentially need to run 24/7. No matter what's happening with the grid. So they have all of our existing data centers have been outfitted with emergency generators. Those generators will run under emergency power, but they also need to be exercised routinely. Generally, they're weekly or monthly. And even those opportunities for exercising the emergency generators can be noise. We've experienced noise with them that have troubled neighbors. Including vibration as well, which I don't think we highlighted here. With respect to traffic, you might recall instances when public has brought to our attention issues related to warehouse traffic and congestion related to distribution warehouses primarily. We want to study that.
And then, as you can imagine and probably have heard, data centers use large quantities of electricity for their computing power and cooling of servers. And as AI is becoming more prevalent in our everyday use, this amount of electricity continues to grow, and their demand for electricity continues to grow as well. So there are lots of estimates out there, but one suggests that data centers account currently for about 3% of global electricity consumption, but there are predictions that are indicating a rise to a potential 10% by 2030, and there are some that are even higher than that. A single data center building can use between 60 to 90 megawatts of power at peak demand, which is equivalent to more than 15,000 households. And anyway, they can use a lot of energy. And then on the environmental side, some of the concerns are about water, air quality, and then greenhouse gas emissions. On the water side, data centers and warehouses can increase stormwater runoff and pollution due to the large amount of impervious surfaces that they have. And then data centers use a lot of water if they utilize water-based cooling. And then for air quality, as John had mentioned, diesel generation is really prevalent. It's the highest use for generation, for backup generation for these data centers. And diesel generators can cause a notable increase on days that they're fired up just to keep them running and to make sure that they're running. And that includes adding additional particulates to the air, NOx, PM 2.5, carbon monoxide, and HAPs like formaldehyde and benzene, which have been proven to negatively affect health, especially in certain communities. And then we need some standards to help buildings meet the 2019 Aurora Sustainability Plan goals of achieving greenhouse gas emissions reductions with the increased energy use of these data centers, but we have nothing in them to regulate how energy efficient their practices are or how much energy their buildings use. And as you probably are all aware, there have been recent increases in ComEd electricity costs, which were directly related to the result of data center demand. And they have already mentioned that there will be another rate hike in 2026 for this exact same reason.
Okay, so what the regulation as it's written now would do would set a 180-day moratorium on these uses. It allows for a 30-day extension if it's needed. This will enable time for staff to give research and report and recommendations to council. During that time, we're going to create a staff working group with all of the partners that you see listed in the middle column. We will be conducting research impacts and studying best practices for noise, energy, air quality, water, land use, traffic, and other as-needed items to bring to council for an ultimate recommendation. So for the moratorium details, the duration, as I mentioned, is 180 days, which is actually slightly different than those dates. We were anticipating this presentation being on October 7th. Sorry for that. I will amend that. With the possible 30-day extension as I mentioned, we are committing to return to council for presentation at 90 days for preliminary findings to share with you. There are exceptions and a hardship test in the ordinance that you'll be considering on Thursday. Those details are laid out in the hardship section in section 8 of the posted agenda for the Thursday meeting. But we're trying to soften the impact of a moratorium for people who already either are entitled and it wouldn't affect them, or have been in process and have a petition submitted to us for an entitlement. It also would not affect remodeling of existing facilities that have already obtained their entitlements, their zoning approvals. Additionally, we're going to implement a conditional processing of new applications. So we will take applications under the conditions that they will need to be amended to address whatever the moratorium changes are to our legislation, should there be any developers that have some time-sensitive needs for getting most of the approval process out of the way. So that would be at their option. So that's...
Okay. I'll say thank you both. Try and limit the time to maybe 15 minutes for discussion. But if there are questions, we want to, because the timeline's short, wanted to bring it to the council first. This is just about the moratorium. There might be questions about why we're doing this. But the one good news is I was at the IEC conference this past Friday and met a lobbyist who represents one of our existing data centers and is interested in bringing a carbon-free data center to the city. So that's good news. But right now for the moratorium, if there's any questions from the council. Alderman Seville.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Then I'll go to Alderwoman Bade.
Just for the newer aldermen that have not been used to a request like this is something that the councils have done in previous years from time to time, not very often. We felt that the development was getting ahead of our ordinance standards, and we wanted to make sure that we had up-to-date ordinances and met the need for the betterment of our community. So this is not, like I say, not an unusual request. And we've done it, like I say, not very often, but from time to time. And it makes sense, really, to be able to step back and do a proper analysis and then come forward with a more, I guess, enlightened standards to meet the moment. So I think this is a good idea, Mayor.
Alderwoman Bade.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the great presentation, Mr. Curley and Ms. Lindbergh. It is very important to understand the current data center issues that we are facing in Aurora. Our situation here mirrors what many other municipalities are facing across the nation. Communities everywhere are struggling with outdated technology, noise concerns, and the impact of rapid data center growth on residents' quality of life. That is why we need to take important steps in regulating noise, zoning, equipment placement, pre and post construction testing, and where necessary, put temporary moratoria to ensure data center growth does not come at the expense of communities' health, environment, and peace. Right now, we have multiple data centers operating with very different technologies, with generators, chillers, fans, and sometimes even transformers running concurrently. The result is overwhelmingly noise pollution. Our neighborhoods should never have to bear the burden. This is an opportunity for us to adopt best practices for our future data centers that we want to welcome to our city. Also, I'm aware of all the hard work from our city staff, Mr. John Curley, Ms. Tracy Wasick. They're already working very hard on current data centers. So thank you for your hard work. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderwoman. So the rest of the council is aware we did meet with existing data center in Ward 10, and they are working on both temporary and long-term noise mitigations. So thank you for stepping up for that. Alderman Nunez.
I know our neighbors to the west in Yorkville, this is a hot topic right now. Just a question regarding their situation. How close are we following the development over there, and what are some initial findings that we've taken away from that?
Okay, if I go? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, we are working, thank you, Alderman. We are working with Yorkville, and we're also working with the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, who is convening a group of municipalities to discuss data centers. So we're trying to take a regional approach as well. I will say, I don't think we've learned much from Yorkville yet, but we hope to learn more.
And just to follow up on that, the state of Illinois also was looking at doing something on the energy side only. It didn't go through in the last cycle. My guess is they'll do something in the next cycle or two. Alderman White.
Thank you, Mayor. So I do appreciate this this presentation. It really brings to light the concerns residents have, and then also it educates us as well as the community on the impact data centers have on the community. So a question I have is, considering the pollution that could potentially take place and the use, the consumption of water and electricity, and then once the data center is actually built, from my understanding, they don't really require a lot of manpower. So in terms of hiring our residents, it's really not there. What are some benefits of having data centers in the community?
Well, the highlighted items I recall when some of our data centers have been placed actually is the reduced traffic. So if you have an area that's reduced traffic, that has been one of the highlights. But you're right, there are very few jobs at data centers. There are a lot of contractors that get there. There are a lot of jobs for construction. These are massive, massive construction projects. But you're right, once the building's in full operation, there are not many jobs compared to other uses.
I'll also just mention that I think data centers have a unique opportunity to fill some existing vacant commercial space that we have in some areas, but it needs to be done correctly. But there's never, I shouldn't say never, but right now there's a huge demand for data centers to come and develop places. And they want to develop where there's cheap electricity and where there's access to fiber. And a lot of times that's in maybe a warehouse location that's vacant. And so they might be able to help repurpose some of our existing buildings as well. But again, that needs to be done correctly.
The other two benefits are the utility tax and, of course, EAV over farmland. So increased EAV. Alderman Seville.
The utility tax is significant that the city receives from a data center, is that correct?
It is. I mean, they use a ton of electricity. The problem, of course, is that right now what the utilities are doing, I think ComEd increased their rates about 25% to try and get ahead of that because they have to build out the infrastructure to get there. So the upfront costs that they're passing on to residents of this area.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it does end up having a residual utility tax that benefits the city.
And don't I remember correctly, and maybe staff can correct me if I'm wrong, that when we approved the data centers thus far, that was one of the major selling points of the council was the utility tax, and that the city would derive from the amount of electrical usage. It's like millions of dollars over a period of time. Is that correct, Sean?
You're correct. That was one of the things highlighted in the last data center approval that was before you.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, if I
how
can
many
add on to that.
And how
Alderman
many
Fr-
data centers do we currently have?
Right. And Mike, to your point, that was 4.1 million was the quoted projection on that. That would be property taxes, utility.
And that was just one data center.
One data center. So
Correct.
so when we encompass all that, that's really what the amount comes out to, give or take a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and John, how many current data centers do we have?
There's currently 4 data centers, and there's 5 data centers in various stages of attempting to get approvals.
5 more?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And this moratorium will put a halt to those 5?
No, not exactly. I think it depends a little bit on timing, and there's people that are trying to beat this moratorium getting put in place. There may be one that beats it. That being said, as Alderman Bade had mentioned, we are trying to do everything we can with all the tools we have, both in zoning regulation and out of the building code, to make sure that the neighborhood complaints are being addressed.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions from the council?
Mr. Mayor, I have a
Alderwoman Bade.
question. So once we have all the rules and regulation, what happens to the data centers that are currently being developed?
Well, as you know, there's mitigations ongoing at the existing center. The second one that's going in right now isn't really near a population center, so I don't think that it will be impacted by the new regulations. Once they've applied, they go in under the rules of that time when they applied, not the new rules. So this would, the moratorium would put a pause on things, new rules adopted, and then anybody coming after that would have to live up to the new rules that we put in place.
Okay, so
But-
the ones that are being constructed right now, even if we have passed all the rules after the moratoria is done, they are still not required to follow these rules?
That's
Is that
correct,
what I-
unless there's some, we've done some.
Yeah, that is correct. That's what the moratorium language would be. But again, I would, I want to highlight the fact that we do have tools in the building code that we will be using
Okay.
in order to ensure that the primary issues that citizens have been highlighting are addressed before these buildings are occupied. We're going to have to change some processes that we have in order to make sure that's the case, but we've been stressing this to everyone every data center that we've been talking to at any stage of an approval, even just talking on the inception meetings for a year at least. So they are all anticipating providing all, especially on the noise side, all the noise information that we are going to ask for prior to occupancy.
Okay, thank you.
I also just want to mention, I don't know for sure that this will happen, but one option might be to consider some existing building regulations. So some other places, for example, require data centers to track their energy and water consumption and report that on an annual basis. We currently don't require that here, but that might be something, and maybe we would do something like that for noise as well. So if that comes up as a best practice, then maybe that's something that we'll put forward as a recommendation, and maybe that would apply to some of those data centers that are currently under construction.
Any more questions on the moratorium? If you think of something, try to get it to John and Allison, send it through the third floor, and we'll get it over and try and get you an answer before Thursday. So appreciate the dialogue, and I appreciate you guys putting it together. This concludes the mayor's report. Next section, public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do.
Outstanding. Would you please read the rules of public comment?
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the city council for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair for the purpose of maintaining order may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the city council shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment within the scope of the city's authority following the adjournment of this meeting.
Madam Clerk, will you please read the name of the first person wishing to offer public comment?
Sandy Schmidt.
Ms. Schmidt? Ms. Schmidt? Ms. Schmidt is not here.
Next is Sun Knight.
Good evening. Welcome, Ms. Sanyet. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Okay. When a governor issues a flag lowering proclamation, it applies to all government entities within the state, which includes cities, City of Aurora, counties, and public schools. The mayor said, your legal department told you, governor's power is with the state building, and you have jurisdiction over Aurora. You don't. Here to tell your legal team you don't. The governor's authority covers the U.S. flag and state flag on all state and local government buildings, such as city halls, schools, and fire departments. The city of Aurora did not comply with the governor's order. A mayor cannot override a binding order from the governor. This goes for your legal department. You are defying superior directives. The governor orders apply to all entities covered by the Illinois Flag Display Act, which includes state and local government facilities. That includes city halls, parks, schools, etc. The governor of Illinois ordered all flags under the Illinois Flag Display Act to be flown at half-staff. The governor's action followed the President of the United States to honor victims of political violence. The order was in effect from sunset on Friday, September 12, 2025, through sunset on Sunday, September 14, 2025. According to state law, the mayor must comply with the flag order issued by the governor. Why is your legal department think they don't have to take order from the governor? You are a mayor who discontinued city-hosted June 10th flag-raising ceremony, citing fiscal responsibility, and your action led to community backlash. You don't want to honor the emancipation of slavery after 400 years. The holiday is a federal holiday recognized by U.S. government. You are a mayor who flies Palestinian flags at your house. That means you support Yasser Arafat, a longtime Palestinian leader. He was linked to numerous terrorist attacks. Charlie Kirk was not a terrorist leader, but you refused to honor him. You honor Yasser Arafat by flying Palestinian flag at your house. Yasser Arafat believed terrorism is a tool to achieve his Palestinian statehood. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment?
Lisa Favre.
Welcome, Ms. Fowler. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thank you. Good evening, council members and Mayor Lash. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Lisa Favre, and I am the Director of Outreach and Networking at Weston Bridges. I am here today, along with two residents from Weston Bridges, to ask for your support in helping neurodiverse adults find gainful, meaningful employment in our community. Too often, these individuals are overlooked, and not because they lack talent or dedication, but because barriers, both physical and attitudinal, stand in their way. When Weston Bridges opened in 2022, as part of the Bloomhaven campus, it brought safety and dignity back to a site that had been overlooked and criminalized for a quarter century. We brought a positive addition to the Great Fourth Ward and in our neighborhood, and provided a safe, stable living community for differently abled adults who want to experience all facets of adult living. As such, our residents participate in all that Aurora has to offer. Diverse restaurants, top-notch library system, museums, art galleries, live music, and of course our favorite, attending many plays and movies at the different venues that make up our Paramount Theater system. In fact, without dollar movie nights and pay-what-you-can dates for live theater, our residents would miss out on being patrons of the arts. We love First Fridays, the Farmers Market, Chris Kindle's Market, and so much more. In fact, our residents enjoy every avenue of being consumers and voters in Aurora. The hurdle that we have not been able to clear in more than 33 years is finding employment in this city. Employment is more than just a paycheck. It provides dignity, independence, and a sense of belonging. When adults with disabilities are given the chance to contribute, our entire community benefits from their skills, creativity, and perspectives. Right now, most of Weston Bridges' friends have had to look outside Aurora because they are not being connected to opportunities that fit their abilities here in town. We need a stronger partnership between the city, local businesses, and service organizations to perhaps create pathways into that workforce. That might mean expanding job training programs, incentivizing inclusive hiring practices, or even creating city-supported internships that would open the door to permanent employment for our friends. This is not about charity. It is about equality and inclusion. Everyone deserves the opportunity to live a productive and fulfilling life, and together we can make that possible. I urge you to help remove the barriers, foster opportunities, and make...
Your 3 minutes is up.
I have one more sentence.
We're pretty rigid on the time because it would rob the other people.
Okay, thank you. I urge you to help remove the barriers, foster opportunities, and make our city a model for inclusive employment. Thank you for your time and for considering this important issue. Can I introduce the other two that are on the list?
They'll speak. Madam Clerk, can you call the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment?
David Ogilvy.
Do you mind if I stand up here to lend him support?
No, you can lend us support, sure.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
You can also adjust the microphone if you'd like. Thank you, David. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor Larson. Larson? Lash. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mayor Lash.
Just read it.
Oh,
Council members.
council member. And
Can you adjust the microphone for him? Thank you.
for letting me speak.
Go ahead.
I lived at Western Bridges for 2 years. I worked at the King County Cougars as a food runner. I don't work there all year long when they are not playing, so I also wash dishes at Western Bridges, which is just okay. I have applied for at least 10 jobs in Aurora, but okay, geez. No, nobody will hire me. I love there. Volunteer at the food pantry, going to the piano theater, and spend time at the library. I also work in Aurora. I don't know why I can't work there too. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Madam Clerk, will you please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment?
Megan Davis.
Welcome, Ms. Davis. Take as much time as you need to adjust the microphone.
I'm ready.
You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thank you. Good evening, council members and Mayor Lash. I am Megan, and I have lived at Weston Bridges for over 2 years. I absolutely love living in Aurora, getting to live with friends my own age, and going out and exploring the community. One thing that has been a challenge since moving to Weston for me is having a job. I love working with kids and wanted a job in that capacity when I moved into Weston. So I applied and worked at the Children's Museum in Naperville. I would have loved a job like that here in Aurora, but could not find anything, and the 30-minute each-way commute was a bit much to deal with. I love volunteering in Aurora. I have helped at the food pantry for many months and have felt very connected to that. I get to know the community members who come, the other volunteers, and I feel part of something. Being part of something where I live means a lot to me, and it keeps me motivated. And I know that continuing to be part of the community would mean a lot to me and my friends at Weston. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Lisa, if you'd like, Nicole Mullins is at the back of the room. She can talk to you briefly. She's our Community Services Director.
Okay, thank you.
Will the clerk please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment?
Danny Sowery.
Welcome. Mr. Sari, you have 3 minutes beginning now.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, that was beautiful. So give me a second here.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. I don't need to reclaim time. All right, as we get started, you know, John, I was going to say something else, but some caught my attention when we started here, Mr. Mayor. We've come out and openly called you an American-hating communist, and you stand here during the Pledge of Allegiance and don't even bother to put your hand on your heart. I mean, what is your beef with this country that's given you everything that you have to put you on a seat that you are completely unqualified for and don't deserve? You guys are talking about budgets and the city is broke, but you're paying how much obscene amount of money on the 10th, 11th, and 12th next month? How much are you guys paying on these concerts? Where are these jobs coming from that Mr. Lawrence mentioned last week, that other folks that you have burned, that helped you get elected, are messaging us and telling us about? Like, what kind of integrity do you have? On top of it, the gentleman with the mask, I'm sorry, Mr. Larson, or Alderman Larson, you're walking around on the 4th of July parade with an upside-down American flag? You guys hate this country so much, get out. It is ridiculous that with everything that's been done and going on in this country, this board has not called for a vote of no confidence on you. You're about to cut over 20% of the Aurora Police Department's budget. You know you're having conversations to get rid of the TAC unit. You are literally making the streets that much more unsafe, which goes alongside of your guys' plan and your Chief of Staff, Shannon. It is ridiculous. It's apparently clear to the community what kind of coward you really are. If you had any sense at all, any respect for this country, you stand up doing the prisoners of war, you give these people a handshake, you come up here and you don't put your hand on your heart for the flag? And you're questioning why we call you an American-hating commie. You are an absolute disgrace. I'm going to cut my time short so I don't say anything inappropriate, as I appreciate these halls. But like I told you last week, sir, get some testicular fortitude, because you're an absolute clown of a joke of a person. You are not a leader. Not as a human, as a leader. You might be a nice guy. I don't know. But as a leader, you suck. Have a great night. Thank you, everybody. And I yield my time.
Thank you for your comments tonight. Madam Clerk, please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Rick Lawrence.
Welcome, Mr. Lawrence. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
I'm a little confused at something. Brian Caputo came up in front of everybody and told us about the financial situation and how it was one of the worst he's seen, and it's not a temporary situation, and that our bond rating is at risk at some point. And we heard all about the census and the lack of taxes, and we had to raise the grocery tax to, cover all kinds of problems. We heard that we're 30 million, it's probably 40. We're seeing change orders already starting to come in. And somehow, in infrastructure committee this week, chief of staff stood up here, and we're going to spend $800,000 on a TV for the park. Now, you're going to fire a bunch of people or lay them off or whatever we're calling a reduction. How do you tell them we can't afford you anymore, but we're paying $800,000 on a TV? Now, you got 4 other ones on that park, but we need another one because the initial design of the park cut the park in half, and you can't see the stage from half the park that you all voted for. Not everybody was here when you voted for it. $26 million on a park. Now, $800,000 on a TV because your chief of staff said, well, maybe some family's having a picnic and they want to see. You have no connections with any promoters that say you're going to get any different acts than you've had before. This park has only lost money in the past. You have no potential of making money on this park. And you're going to lay off people. Brian Caputo stood here and told us how bad it was. $800,000. And then in this budget, you're going to come to the taxpayers and say, we're in such bad shape, we got to raise your taxes. We got to raise the levy. But we spent $800,000 on a TV. So go enjoy that TV the 10 times the park is open instead of just renting it something if you need it for an event. I mean, think about that. Just conceive that, $800,000 on a TV. But we got to raise the taxes. And you know you're going to do it. You know when you go through this budget, you're going to come up, we got to raise taxes. You know you're going to say it. What are you going to do with that TV? I just don't get it. I mean, what mindset says you're in so much trouble, firing people, getting rid of people, but we got $800,000 for a TV? $26 million on a park, $13 million Valley Honda, $800,000 TV. It's not mission critical like you asked. We could do without the TV. Save the $800,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Madam Clerk, do we have any other members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do. The next speaker is Todd Von Olen.
Welcome, Mr. Von Olen. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
I'm wearing a paper clip on my collar. Paper clips bind together things that have something in common. A bunch of keys, perhaps, or a stack of papers that make up a report or a thesis or a story. Each page has something in common with the others, but each is different. Might be a chart, a graph, a photo, or text, but each page supports the others. I think of the City Council as the paperclip that binds together the great diverse population of Aurora. We have different ideas about how to deal with our concerns, but we all want solutions that protect, educate, feed, and shelter our children, provide streets that are free of hazards and crime, a thriving downtown with businesses, entertainment, culture, and places to gather for food, libation, and camaraderie. We define ourselves by groups we are part of: Cubs, Sox, Bears fans, Tomcats, Warriors, Blackhawks, Illinoisans, and citizens of the United States, and of course, members of a family. But we're feeling very divided right now. People have become tribal. We are right, and your tribe is stupid, deluded, and just plain wrong. That's okay until you add, and you deserve no respect. I support free speech. I may disagree with what you say. I will defend with all my strength and fortitude your right to say it. As our FCC chairman once said, free speech is a counterweight. It is a check on government control. That is why censorship is an authoritarian's dream. Over the years, many people have stood here, used 3 minutes to speak about issues that are before you or should be. For the most part, these folks have been thoughtful, respectful of their fellow citizens, the council, and this space. Recently, we witnessed a number of people who came to speak about the position of a flag on a pole. Loud voices, foul language, spiteful names were thrown about. This is not just respectful to the mayor, alderpersons, and staff, but to the entire population of the city. You didn't just walk in here and take these seats. You went out and knocked on doors. You went to public meetings. You talked to people. You listened to and speak with your constituents, convincing them that you support ideas that might make their lives better. And a majority of them voted you into office. In a sense, you are all of us. In these challenging times, many of us feel alienated and suspicious, afraid that if we say the wrong thing, we will be attacked verbally or even violently. We are no longer divided by party affiliation, but into those who support freedom and democracy and those who want authoritarianism and dictatorship. Polls show that the first group is much larger than the second. We can stand together to celebrate and cherish the things that bind us as a society and reject those that seek to divide us. Norwegians wore paper clips as a sign of unity against Nazi occupiers. I brought a bag of paper clips at my own great expense, and I will gladly give them to anyone who wishes to make a fashion statement that says, let us bind together as we are all humans, just trying to get through the day, endeavoring to make the world a better place for our fellow beings with respect, freedom, and democracy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Van Hollen. Madam Clerk, will you please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment?
The final speaker is Thu Elliott.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff.
Welcome, Mr. Elliott.
Thank you. My name is Thu Elliott. I'm a resident of Ward 4. Usually, narratives, the stories we tell about who we are constructed gradually and through multiple channels over time. They unfold as we come to deeper understanding of who we are and who we want to be. They are the story of us told by us. Recently, we're seeing narratives being created in real time that are easily distinguished from narratives that have grown in community. These narratives are built on the characterization of others, naming threats and utilizing grand religious ideas tied to militaristic nationalism. That's what's happening when we hear folks talk about the soul of our nation, or battles between good and evil, or revivals, or great awakenings. This language, in its reliance on abstract symbols treated as concrete fact, has a deeply dehumanizing effect and allows for the treatment of any group as a threat or a cancer to be eliminated. Our path forward is the path we make together, and we'll make it with the steps we take. There is no glorious past to be reclaimed. There will be no divine retribution for our efforts at a more inclusive culture. When we all turn together to sanctify and adore persons who have been reduced to symbols or symbols themselves, we lose our sight for each other. So once again, I am thanking you for maintaining a focus on community and understanding that symbols are tools that represent ideas, not sacred objects to be worshipped. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. That concludes the public comment portion of the agenda. Next, we'll hear both the consent agenda and direct to council consent agenda in full.
250254, a resolution authorizing the execution of a joint funding agreement with the state of Illinois, the execution of a Phase 3 construction engineering services agreement with Michael Baker International in the not-to-exceed amount of $275,341, and the appropriation of $960,000 for the Deal and Molitor Farnsworth 2 Eola resurfacing project. 250256, a resolution authorizing the execution of a joint funding agreement with the state of Illinois, the execution of a Phase 3 construction engineering services agreement with H.R. Green in the not-to-exceed amount of $251,247, and the appropriation of $755,000 for the Stonebridge Boulevard resurfacing project. 250587, a resolution authorizing the execution of a joint funding agreement with the state of Illinois, the execution of a Phase 3 construction engineering services agreement with Chastain and Associates in the not-to-exceed amount of $343,221, and the appropriation of $1,185,000 for the combined Randall, Eola, Couts, Ellington, and Keating resurfacing project. 250628, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to issue a change order to the existing contract with Purvis Systems Incorporated for a fire station alerting system. 250638, a resolution authorizing approval of the summer 2025 historic preservation grants and allowing the mayor to enter into historic preservation grant agreements and addendums. 250676, a resolution authorizing Angie's Place to provide the City of Aurora Police Department wellness checks for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. 250677, a resolution authorizing the execution of real estate contracts to purchase properties required for the Farnsworth-Bilter Church roadway widening project. 250708, a resolution establishing health and dental insurance monthly rates of contributions for pre-Medicare retirees effective January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. 250710, a resolution establishing COBRA insurance monthly rates effective January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026. 250711, a resolution authorizing Blue Cross Blue Shield Blue of Illinois for group health care services and rates for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. 250727, approval of the minutes of the Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 City Council meeting. 250737, a resolution accepting the improvements and maintenance security for the Liberty Meadows subdivision, Wolverine Drive.
So moved.
Is there a motion to approve the items, both the direct council consent agenda and consent agenda? Motion was made by Alderman Franco, seconded by Alderman Seville. Are there any questions on any of the agenda items in either the consent agenda or direct council? Okay, being no questions, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Barrero?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Nunez?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Benuelos?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Larson?
Yes.
Alderman White?
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The consent agenda and direct to council consent agenda are both approved. There is no unfinished business, no new business.
Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of questions on the new business, if I may.
Under new business?
Well, it's not unfinished, so I'm looking for a category here to fit in. So I figure it'd be new business, if I may.
Sure.
So, two questions. Recently, we had talked about the solar field going over on Barnes Road, and you and I have been in contact and asking for my support. And I, as I mentioned, I didn't think anything had changed from a year ago, where staff was basically saying it would be better if we looked at residential there. So I had told you that, I'm not going to change my support for that. And then you had texted me back that it's being built. So I just want to know what that meant, because in May of last year, 2024, we voted 11-1 not to accept the county's proposal to put that there, and then we subsequently annexed the land so we can control that decision. So I'm just kind of wondering, how would that be built if the city council voted against that? So I didn't know where we're at.
It's a legal discussion. I'll take it.
Okay. No, that's
take
fine.
Take it with you offline.
Okay. No,
I
that's
owe you a
fine.
return call.
No, that's fine. That was one question. And the other one was, we apparently recently fired a department head. So.
We're not going to talk about, personnel
Okay.
decisions in public. If you'd like
Okay.
to make a motion to go into executive
I would like to make a
session,
motion to go into closed session then.
we'll first pay the bills, and that'll come up
Sure,
at
that's fine.
at
That's
that
whatever order you want
section.
to do it, that's fine.
Any other questions under new business? No, there being none, will the clerk please read the next agenda item to pay the bills?
250749, bill summary and large bill list. Second.
Is there a motion to approve and pay the bills? Motion made by Alderman Seville, seconded by Alderwoman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions on the bills? There being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Barrero? Yes. Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Nunez?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Banuelos?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Larson?
Yes.
Alderman White?
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The bills are approved for payment. There's no need for a closed session unless any alderman wishes to make said motion.
I make a motion, we go into closed session to talk about personnel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Franco to enter into executive session, seconded by Alderman Nunez. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Barrero?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
No.
Alderman Nunez?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Banuelos?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
No.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Larson?
Yes.
Alderman White?
Yes.
9 yes, 2 no.
Okay, well, there being no, that motion carries. There being no further business before the council, we will enter into executive session, and this meeting will be adjourned following return.
If I may just add, we're going to be entering the executive session under 5 ILCS 120 /2C1 is the exception.
We have to do the motion to adjourn.
Can we come out?